Did you know that from 1861 to 1865 there was a secret war being fought in America between tomatoes and potatoes? No, not those spuds. These two were the real contenders for the title of most important food group, and they had so much beef with each other that it ended up going all the way to the freaking Supreme Court. But how did these two get so pissed at each other? Well, let me explain. Suddenly, every time someone committed a crime and was put on trial, their lawyer would claim that it was the tomatoes that made them do it. So to fight back against this bogus ruling, they did what any reasonable group of people would do in the 1800s. They created a political party dedicated to getting revenge on the evil potato-loving establishment. Yeah, seriously. They formed the Order of the Tomato, a secret society whose main goal was to overturn the Supreme Court's decision and finally get some respect for their beloved fruit. And judges were getting sick and tired of hearing it. So in 1846, they decided to settle this debate once and for all. Born in France in 1783, Alfonso was an African-American chef who cooked for Napoleon Bonaparte during the French Revolution. Fortunately, they didn't have to look far. All they needed to do was look across the ocean to Italy, where an old recipe was gaining popularity. The dish was called pasta, and soon enough it would become the perfect combination with their beloved tomatoes. Together, they would form a bond that would last forever. But after the Revolution, he moved to the United States and started his own restaurant. It didn't take long for his dishes to become a hit, especially his specialty, pommes frites. This combo of fried potatoes with a side of ketchup would make him famous, and potatoes would become a staple of American cuisine. Any guesses how they settled this? The Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts ruled that since tomatoes were a vegetable, it couldn't possibly drive someone insane. Therefore, they couldn't be used as a legal defense. Wait, actually no, it didn't. Potatoes are still considered the most important food group. I just made that up. But hey, now you know why. In 1840, an Irish immigrant named Daniel Patrick O'Connell was walking through the streets of Boston when he noticed a really nasty homeless guy eyeing him. So naturally, out of nowhere, he punched the bum right in the face, and after knocking him out cold, realized he had just murdered him. After killing Rice, O'Connell was put on trial for murder. But he quickly became the star witness in a totally different case. While looking for someone to blame for his actions, he pointed the finger at everyone's favorite Italian dish, tomatoes. In court, he claimed that eating too many tomatoes had driven him insane and forced him to commit murder. Now, technically this isn't true because eating tomatoes can't drive you insane, which is lucky because otherwise we would have outlawed them long ago. But O'Connell was still found not guilty by reason of insanity. You see, the homeless guy wasn't just any bum off the street. He was actually Thomas Rice, a former hatter who had gone insane after years of inhaling mercury while working with felt. And to make matters even worse, O'Connell had just killed him during a particularly intense fight over stolen potatoes. Yeah, you heard that right. They were fighting over spuds. But what's a potato got to do with a tomato? Well, more than you'd think. However, his insanity plea opened up a whole can of worms. But this ruling was like pouring gasoline on a fire, because it pissed off the tomato growers, who had been losing money ever since people stopped eating them because they were scared they'd go insane. Fortunately for the Order of the Tomato, though, potatoes were already a well-established part of American cuisine, thanks to one very famous chef named Antoine Alfonso. With the potato already so popular, the Order of the Tomato knew that if they wanted to stand a chance, they needed an equally delicious dish to show the world that tomatoes deserved a spot on the American table. And with that, the potato's reign of supremacy finally came to an end.